welcome to Brahma Fitness Pilates. I'm going to do a good Pilates session with you this morning. Hopefully you've all watched my alignment video. It talks about your posture and your breathing and everything. If you've not, and you've not done Pilates before, I do suggest having a quick watch of that before you get started today. If you have done, fantastic, let's get going. So we'll do a little warm up, make sure you've got your posture set up, so feet out to 10 to 2, heels behind your toes. Let's start with some shoulder rolls, get us all nice and warm for our workout today. Welcome to Pilates if you've not done it before. Reach over to one side and stand up nice and tall. Keep your arms nice and relaxed. I want you to exhale as you reach over. Inhale as you bring it back up to centre. Just warming up for now. Warm up through your spine, warm up through your sides. Get us ready for the workout. Good. Give me one more to each side. Last one. Perfect. Okay, hands into prayer position now. Thumb on your sternum, finger on your chin. Big inhale. Exhale as you rotate round to one side and bring it back to centre. As you're doing this one, I want you to make sure that you really focus on your hips. So your hips need to still be facing forwards rather than twisting round with you. The reason being is as soon as you move those hips, you're also twisting your knees and twisting your ankles. Obviously something that we really don't want to be doing. So it's not a big movement, you don't need to try and look at the back of the room, it's just a warm up, just making sure you're not moving your hips. Okay, from there, relax your arms down. We're going to warm up your lower body now, so we're going to do some squats. You're going to inhale as you go down, exhale as you come up. Again, just warming up, you don't need to go super low or anything like that. This is where everyone's ankles and knees creak as they're warming up. Just one more. Lovely. Okay. Into heel raises now. So wash just one foot at a time. Again, this is where you get all your creaks in your ankles and your toes and everything else. Perfect. Just one more each side. Lovely. Okay, right, into the main bit of the workout today. So we're going to start with a roll down. There's different levels for the exercises, and I'll make sure you all know about your level. You choose which level is better for you. Okay, so starting with the roll down, you're going to start, if you've got a mat, fantastic. You're going to stand at the end of the mat with the mat in front of you. As you can see, you don't really need one. I'm not using one today. So again, think about where your feet are, think about your posture. So feet underneath your hips. You're going to start with a big inhale. Exhale, you're going to tilt your chin to your chest. Really roll down, really curving that spine. All the way down as far as you can, keeping your legs straight. And from there, you're going to walk it out into a plank position. If you do have problems with your wrists or arms, you can just do the first section, rolling down and back up. And from there, walking it back up. Heels back on the floor, so your chin on your chest and really roll up through your spine to a nice tall standing position. Just going to move a bit further back there so you can still see me properly. And again, starting again with an inhale. Exhale, tilt your chin to the chest. Really good exercise to start with. Kind of gets your mind out a little bit, stretched out a little bit more. You can hear my shoulders creaking, I think there. Take your chin on your chest, roll yourself all the way up. Again, big inhale. Exhale, tilt your chin to your chest. So it's really curving through your spine, so you're warming up your spine. You're going to help lengthen the back of your legs with the stretch down. Don't feel like you need to keep your legs straight there, as straight as you can. If you need to bend them to get your hands to the floor, that's absolutely fine. Working into your shoulders, working into your core. Really getting, kind of working your full body on this one. One of my favourites I try and incorporate into every workout. It's a really good one to see kind of where your progress is as well. Especially with people who've got tight hamstrings and working on the back of your legs and getting yourself closer and closer to the floor each time without without having to bend your knees. Right, this is your last one. This time, when you walk it out into plank, we're going to hold plank position. So hold in that position. If you need to, you can drop to your knees doing a modified plank, as long as you've still got that long line from your elbow, not from your elbow, from your shoulder down to your knee. It's up to you. You can also go down onto your elbows if you prefer. That just takes that pressure away from your wrists. Keep holding. Nice big deep breaths. As you're holding that position. A few more seconds here. Lovely. Drop to your knees. And you're just going to quickly stretch it out into child's pose. Just for a moment. Lovely. Sit yourselves up. Okay, from here, we're going to do the side plank. So, a few options for you. So, elbow or wrist, whichever you prefer. I prefer to go on my elbow for the side plank. From here, your first option is keeping that knee underneath bent. So it's still working through your waist. Second option is to have one foot in front of the other. Third option is to stack your feet. So holding that plank position, working through your waist, working through your hips, shoulders. Nice big deep breaths, keep holding. Again, choose your option. You don't have to stick with the same option throughout as well. So if you're starting, say, with this option, but you're finding it quite difficult, rather than stop the exercise, just drop that underneath knee and keep going. A few more seconds. And relax. Drop that hip down. I want you to bend both knees. And we're just going to do a quick mermaid stretch over to that side. So keeping your knees bent on that side, stretching over. Feel that nice stretch down the side of your body. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to do that again on the other side. So take your feet over to the other side. Take your chosen position. So whether it's on your knee, or whether your feet are in front of each other, or whether they're stacked. It's entirely up to you. Some people like to have their arm out as well. If you want to put your arm out, that's absolutely fine. I just like to rest mine on my shoulder. Try and keep your shoulders stacked though. So where possible, try not to hold on to the floor like that. Really keep your chest open. Again, nice big deep breaths. Think about the breathing. Get you through. A few more seconds here. And relax, drop your hips down again into that mermaid stretch on the other side. So knees bent, stretch it over. Really enjoy that stretch down your side. Okay, bring your arm down. So next we're going to go into a Superman. So I want you to take yourself into a tabletop position. So from that, bringing your hands underneath your shoulders. Your knees are going to be underneath your hips. I want you to look through your legs. You shouldn't be able to see your feet. So again, going back to the alignment from my intro video, you're all in alignment, so you should have a gap between your knees and you shouldn't be able to see your feet. When your spine nice and long, you're going to do a big inhale and an exhale as you take one leg and the opposite arm out. And you're going to bring it back down. That's your first option, is to just bring it back down and take it back out again. You're using the same side each time. If you want to make it that little bit harder, you can bring your knee in and your arm in, but really focusing on keeping that spine and all your upper body nice and still. You've got to really focus on your core. It's got to really work hard to make sure you're not wobbling. Bringing it back in. Using that breath, so you exhale as you straighten out. Inhale as you bring it back. Really well controlled. Should be feeling it in your shoulders by now, especially after those planks as well. Again, using that breath. Just one more. And bringing it back down. So we're going to switch sides. So doing the same again with the opposite arm and leg. Big inhale to prepare. Exhale as you take it out. Remember, your first option is to take it out. Just bring it back to centre. If you want to make it a little bit harder, exhale as you take it out, and then as you bring it back, bring your knee in and your arm in and extend it out again. Again, really well controlled. Exhale. Imagine you've got a drink on your back. You really don't want to spill it. Whether it's a glass of wine or a cup of tea, just make sure you're not spilling it. So really using that core to ensure that you're not moving your upper body whilst you're moving your arm and leg. Inhale, exhale. Just one more. And last one. Bringing it back down. Fantastic. Okay, you're staying in that tabletop position. This time we're going to keep your arms where they are. Just going to use your legs. So again, you're going to inhale to prepare. I'm going to take your leg out to the side. You're going to exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. Make sure your hips aren't moving. So you're not rotating round. It's not a big movement. You're not going to get your knee up towards the ceiling or anywhere near. Just working into that lower body. You're going to make it harder. Make sure you don't place your weight back on that leg as you're doing the exercise, as you're bringing it back down. And using that breath. Just one more. And relax it down. So switching sides now. So taking the opposite leg out. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. Make sure you're using that core to keep your upper body nice and stable. Getting into them hips now. You'll probably feel it in that leg that's actually not moving at the moment as well, especially after doing it on that side already. Nice and controlled. Just a few more. Again, if you want to make it harder, make sure you're not putting your weight back on your knee as you bring it back down. One more. And relax it down. Push it back into child's pose. Take the pressure off your wrists for a moment. Stretch out those arms. Okay, sit yourself up and onto your bum. So you're going to start now from a seated position. I want you to have your spine nice and tall. You can have, again, going back to that alignment, your knees need to be in line with your hips and following down to your feet. You don't want your hips together and your knees apart, or your knees together and your feet apart. All should be in line. We're going into a roll back. You're going to take your arms out in front of you. From here, you're going to just curve your spine, roll yourself down, so the bottom part of your spine touches the mat or the floor, and you're going to roll yourself back up into a nice tall seated position. So make sure when you get up to the top, you've got a nice long spine. Curve your spine again into that nice C shape. Rolling yourself back up. Perfect. Inhale as you go down. Exhale as you come back up. Again, making sure you're sitting up nice and tall. You're just going as low as you can. As long as you can come back up in a nice controlled way, making sure your feet are still staying planted on the floor. And that's fine. You'll also feel this one in the front of your legs. And then hips working as well. Use that breath. Last one. And relax. It also might get your shoulders a little bit, especially after doing your plank and your Superman. Okay, roll yourself all the way down to the mat now. Move myself up back a little bit so hopefully you can all see me. So this time it's up to you. You can keep your hands by your side. A lot of people like to with this curl up exercise. Place your hands behind your head. Again, make sure your feet, your legs are in line. Eye line to the ceiling. Big inhale. You're going to do a curl up. So you're going to reach, bring your head and shoulders up off the mat and relax it back down. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you go back down. Imagine you're bringing your ribs towards your hips. So you're closing in that gap between your ribs and your hips. Nice and controlled. Little pause at the top. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can place your feet into tabletop position. Last one. And relax it down. So we're going to do an oblique curl up this time. So similar sort of thing, but you're going side to side. Again, if you want to make it harder, take your feet up into a tabletop position so that your knees are over the top of your hips. You've got a 90-degree angle at your knees and 90 degrees at your hips. From here, big inhale. Exhale as you reach over, aiming to get that shoulder up to the opposite knee, whether your feet are grounded or whether they're up in the air. And then you're going to switch over side to side. Exhale as you reach up. Try and reach up. Try and keep that elbow out. Keep it in your peripheral vision, but keep it out to the side. Use that breath. As I've said before, don't feel like you need to keep the same level throughout. If you start with your feet up and you want to drop them part way, it's absolutely fine. You start with them down and think, actually, yeah, I can do it with my feet up. Then again, push yourself that little bit. Doesn't mean you need to do the full exercise to the advanced version. Again, using that breath, that little pause at the top. Make sure you're alternating side to side. Good. Last one on each side. And relax it down. Just enjoy a nice full body stretch. Just stretch out, arms out, legs out. Okay, bring your arms back down. This time, everyone's going to start with the tabletop position. So 90-degree angle at your knees, 90 degrees at your hips. Knees over the top of your hips. If it's putting quite a bit of pressure on your lower spine, just bring your knees in slightly. From there, you're going to extend one leg and bring it back up. So just extending it as far as you can, but making sure you're staying off the floor each time. So if you're, whichever level is better for you as to how low you get your legs. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can bring your head and shoulders off the floor as well. Making sure you're coming back to that tabletop position each time. Nice and controlled. So exhale as you take it out. Inhale as you bring it back up. Keeping yourself nice and controlled each time. Flowing nicely from one leg to the other. Few more here. Hopefully we're feeling it in those tummy muscles now. One more on each side. Relax it down and take it into a nice full body stretch again. Stretching out all your body. It's a nice one to just have a quick relax too before we move on. Okay, from here you're going to roll yourself onto one side. I'll just move it back a little bit there. So what you're going to do is straighten out your underneath arm. You're going to rest your head on your arm. You've got your options for your legs. So your first option would be to bend your underneath leg and hold your hand in front. You can extend that underneath leg, keeping your hand in front, or you can take your hand off completely. Oh, rolling over already. As you can see, that's the advanced level. The reason being that you're less stable. So having that hand in front of you gives you stability, but taking it onto your hip just makes you less stable. It means your core's going to have to work harder to keep you in that position. Make sure that your waist is lifted underneath, so you can slot a piece of paper underneath. That's going to keep your spine in the right position as well. From here, you're going to lift and lower that top leg. Exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower. Working into them hips. It's not about how high you get your leg. You need to make sure you're taking it just in line with your hips or a little bit higher, but making sure that you're not rolling back and your hips aren't tilting backwards. Using that breath, making sure your waist is staying lifted underneath so your spine isn't sinking into a different position. We have two more. You might be feeling it already in your hips. Now relax it there. Okay. This time you're going to keep your leg in line with your hips. So keep taking it up. So you've got that gap. And this time you're going to take your foot forward and bring it back. Again, it's much harder to have your hand on your waist, so just place your hand in front if you want to, as long as you're not putting your weight on it. Just makes your core work harder, the less stable that you are. Good. Might be burning now in that hip. Keep on pushing through. Keep going, use that breath, Try and distract yourself from the burn at the moment. 2 more. Last one. Lovely, relax, bring your knee up. Give that leg, hip a bit of a rub. Brilliant. Okay, we're going to do the same again on the other side, unfortunately. Got to even it out. So lying the other way, straighten out your underneath arm, rest your head on your arm, make sure your waist is lifted. Your option as to whether you've got your knee bent underneath, whether you've got your hand in front or whether you've got it on your waist and from here. So lifting and lowering. Exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower. Using that breath. Excellent. Try not to wobble. Good. You might find that one side, it starts to burn a little bit quicker than it did on the other side. It just might show slight weakness on one side, which is fairly normal. Last one. And relax. Okay, next one and last one on this side. You take your foot up, take your foot forward and bringing it back. So exhale as you take your foot forward, inhale as you bring it back. Your core's got to really work hard to make sure you're not wobbling around. So what you don't want to do is move that upper body. So your upper body should be staying nice and stable. So you've got to get that core working. Make sure your waist is still lifted underneath, so your spine's in a nice long position. You're not sinking in. Good. Using that breath still. Work through the burn. So it might hurt more on this side. You might find this side's alright. Last one. And relax, bring your knees up. Give that a bit of a rub, bit of a hit. Okay, last one. So roll it onto your front from here. I'm going to do a back extension. So rest your hands on your forehead. Big inhale to prepare. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. You can keep your hands on the floor if that's putting too much strain on your back. Just make sure you're not pushing up with your hands. You're still using your lower back as you lift. Good work. Just give me one more. And relax. Excellent. Push yourself up. Take yourself over. Stretch that spine the other way into child's pose. Lovely. Well done. Great work today. Let us know what you think at Brahma Fitness on Facebook and Instagram. I really hope you enjoyed the session. Thanks a lot, everyone. Well done.